and welcome. It's Shanna Makes It, and I'm here on the Love from Lizi channel working with Under the Sea card kit. And I've just got the 6x6 paper pad here and the Seahorse die and the trim and just some stuff just to show you what I'm planning to work with. And we're going to get started. We're going to make some cards, and we'll just see what I can come up with. So I am using some of the cardstock that was included in the kit, and I wanted to give it some texture, so I just got my scoreboard out and I scored every 1/4 of an inch on this panel in one direction, and then I flipped it and I scored every 1/4 of an inch in the other direction and just created this crisscrossed cross pattern on here just to give it a little bit of texture and add some interest to the panel rather than just laying that plain cardstock down. I didn't have a Love from Lizi embossing folder large enough for the 5x7 that I'm making here, and so that's why I just decided to use my scoreboard and create my own texture. So I have cut this panel down to lay on here, and I'm going to bring in the mermaid or fishtail lace that was in there, and then the mermaid fabric that was in there, the holographic mermaid fabric that was in the kit. And I got this crazy idea to just create a mermaid that looks like it's swimming right off the edge of the card. So I'm going to attempt to do that, and we'll see how it comes together in the end, and see if it's something that you might find interesting or that you might try. So I'm salvaging as much of this as I can because it's gorgeous and I want to be able to use it on multiple cards. I've also got some of that twine that was included in the kit that I'm going to use for this, and I'm basically just bunching this up, and I'm going to just create like a tail with the fin is what I'm planning to do here. So I'm bringing in my dot runner. I thought I would just kind of create a little cone or that I could stick this down in, and then we can tie it off with the string that we have there. And I want it to be more narrow at the fin and then kind of get wider as we get down to the edge of the card base there. So I think it kind of looks like, the bottom of a mermaid. We just don't have her body on there, but I thought it was kind of a fun way to do it. And when I saw the components that were in the kit, I thought, well, I think I could create this. So I'm just going to tie this twine off and just connect those two pieces so that I can get them laid down on my card base. And we will have some more normal cards in the rest of the video. I just thought this was a fun concept and I wanted to try it. So I hope you think it's interesting as well. So I'm just taking that same dot runner, and I just kind of went in like a half circle and put some down so that I can get this attached to my card base. I'm going to do the same thing with the body of the mermaid and then add some glue for permanent hold and just get it laid down on there. Just making sure I've got a good hold on that. And then I'm just going to bring some scissors in. I'm just going to trim the edge of my card base and just cut it off. And it's just going to look like this mermaid is swimming right off the card. And there we go. Hopefully you can tell what it is. I thought it was just kind of a fun concept. So I'm going to add some more dot runner just to get this held down. I wanted to use it rather than glue so that you wouldn't see any glue spots on that. And so there we go. We've got our little mermaid just swimming right off of the card. Now we just need to add some embellishments and some other items of interest just to finish off the card. Now I'm bringing in some of the ephemera and just kind of fooling around with it and seeing, what I might like on here and how I might be able to embellish this. And so you'll see me kind of fiddle around until I get what I think will work. Here I'm getting some, I don't know, seaweed or coral or whatever it is. We've got the jellyfish and then the shells And I think I'm going to go with that. I think we'll just add some shells and some seaweed to it, and that will finish off our card. So for the shell, I'm just going to add some glue on it, get it laid down, and then we'll pop up some of the other elements just to make it a little bit more interesting. I've got these foam squares here that came in one of my other Love from Lizi kits, and I've still got several of them left, so I'm just going to use those to help pop up this seaweed. And then we can get it laid down with our shell and just fill in some of that open space on our card. So I will link all the materials in the description box below so that you can check them. Basically, this is the August Under the Sea kit from Love from Lizi, and I'm working with the components that are in it. I did bring in a 5x7 card base for this, but otherwise I'm using the materials contained within the kit. And then, of course, I brought these foam squares in from a previous kit. And we're going to get our little starfish laid down on here. And I think it's interesting that this kit came out right now, and that I've been decorating for VBS, and the theme was very much like this, Under the Sea. It was actually called Shipwreck, but the components of the decorations were under the sea. So it's funny that I've been working with all of these sea elements in just about everything I've been doing this past week. So these little charms are so cute, the little starfish charms. I think there are 5 of those included in the kit, and I think they add some great dimension. Believe this sentiment is one from the stamp set. It says, "Can't wait to see, S-E-A, you soon," and I'm going to use it on there. And I thought it's kind of funny because we really can't see our mermaid's face or whatever, so can't wait to see you soon. So I'm just going to get everything pressed down on there. We're going to get the release paper off of the sentiment, and we will get it laid down on our card base. And then that, I think, will pretty much finish up our card. We've got a charm on there, some ephemera, and we've used the fishtail and then the mermaid. And we've got a lot of dimension going on. So we're moving right on to the next card. And for this one, we're going to use the green mesh and some green cardstock that I had. I think... yeah, I think this is in the kit as well. I do have other Love from Lizi products that I have in my stash, but I believe this mint was included in the kit as well. So I'm just taking some dot runner and laying it down on here, and I'm just going to fold this mesh over this pattern paper panel here and get it added to our pattern paper. And it's going to add some texture and some interest to the card, and I think it'll be a fun element. And I'm going to, put the dot runner on there and get it wrapped around the card, and then we'll add some glue, and that will help secure it as well. So just giving it a good press, and we're going to get it laid down on here. So I am going to add a little glue along that edge just to help secure it. And then I think I'll just bring in some foam strips and just lay it across there, and then it will be good and secure. So I'm going to grab some foam strips, and we'll just bring that in and lay it down. I thought if I just covered that mesh up with the strip, it would adhere very nicely, and we wouldn't have to worry about it, some of those edges popping up. And you'll see I'm kind of starting on the side and just kind of rolling it up just to make sure we get all of those little mesh pieces there and they don't pop off the card. And then we'll just add some more to the middle just to give it security. And then we're going to have a really fun panel for this card. I think these cards that I'm making today are kind of interesting from a textural standpoint. They're a little bit non-traditional for cards, but I think that's what makes it fun. Lizi always puts the most interesting things in her kits. I don't think you can get as interesting kits from other places. I think they're definitely worth the value, and I would highly recommend them. I'm always excited to see the interesting bits and pieces, especially that little bag that has all the little bits in it. I'm always excited to see what is in there and how I might be able to work with it. Very fun. So I think I've got this laid down. I always use my bone folder to press my foam tape down. That way when I go to lift the release paper, I don't pull the foam tape off. Having trouble getting a hold of that piece there. All right, now we're ready to get this laid down on our A2 size card panel. Just trying to push it up a little bit. I was kind of low. And the foam tape will help with the bowing of the panel as well. We'll get it laid down there and we won't have any bowing once we get it laid down. So I love the mint green cardstock with and then this mesh and that background panel. And then we're going to bring in one of the green pieces of twine or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to just draw that in the center. And I think it'll make a fun element. So we'll just make a little knot on here. And then we'll double knot it. And then we're going to go to that little embellishment bag because there's some fun bits and pieces in there, and I think we can add some stuff to this that'll make it interesting. Going to put a little bit more of that dot runner to try and hold this netting down. I'll add some glue later to it as well, and it will get stuck down. But isn't that interesting? I think it's going to be a fun card. It'll be fun to look at and to touch. Now, these are the fishtails that are the charms that are included in the kit, and I'm going to add them to our twine. And we'll have 2 of these on our card. And this one I wasn't able to thread through very easily, so I moved to the other side. It thread through really quickly. And then I just snipped this and ran it through. Was able to run another one through, and we'll get 2 of those fishtails on here. There we go. So it does fit nicely through there. And I thought the green fishtails would look nice with the color scheme that we've got going here. So we'll just trim that off and we'll get this poked through there. And then I'll just add another knot just to kind of keep them in place. And it's super fun. Looks like I'm actually going to tie a bow on that as well. And then I think I decided against it and just put a 3rd knot in there just to secure it. And then we'll just trim, we can trim the those down a little bit and just let them kind of hang. And I think it's cute. I like it. So I went and grabbed a sentiment, and I was grabbing these embellishments that were included in the little bag. And I thought I would put, I think I wound up putting 3 of those on here. There's 3 green ones and I think 2 blue ones that come in the kit. And I'm going to use these on the card, and we'll just get them laid down there with some glue. And this is where I come back in and add some more glue and some more dot runner to get this pushed down. And I'm going to use my magnets to just press them down so that it'll adhere while I'm working on this other area of the card. So we'll just use our glue. We'll put some dots of glue down, and then we'll use our embellishments and put them on this side. And there we go. So I've got the Sentiment Love You down there that I have already stamped and heat embossed. And I'm going to get it and add it to our card. I'm going to bring in that sand dollar, and just add the sentiment to that. And we'll get it laid down on our card. And I actually swapped out the sentiment for Seize the Day and added that. I think that turned out fun. Now we're going to make one more card. And I've got the gray cardstock that was included in the kit, and I just made a panel. And I'm bringing in some of the blue 6x6 pattern paper from Under the Sea. And I've got our Seahorse, and I'm going to die cut it out. I'm going to bring some tape in so it doesn't move, because I really need a not to move because I've got it centered where I want it, and so I'm just taping it down so it won't move. Now this die is interesting. It doesn't die cut out a seahorse. It die cuts out the inside of the seahorse. And so that's why I was careful to position it where I wanted it and just die cut it out. I'm going to gently pull this off, and I'm going to put some cardstock underneath it so that our seahorse will shine through there. So that's a different die. I don't think I've worked with one like this before. So I'm going to put some glue on there, and we'll just have that brushed gold cardstock from Love from Lizi peeking through there. And I thought it would be fun because there's like some gold flecks in this pattern paper, and I thought those would look nice together. And of course we have our gold gems. You got a small size and a mini size of embellishment gems, and I'm going to use those on here as well, along with the new denim pill-offs that we have in the kit. So I'm going to lay this down. It's a little bit longer than my card base, but I'll just lay it down and just trim it off, and we'll just work with it. I'm trying to get my base lined up so that I can get this positioned evenly how I want it. And we'll just give it a good press once I get it where I want it. And then we'll just trim that off the bottom, and we've got our seahorse there. And I think it looks really neat. So now I'm going to bring in those pill-offs, and I'm going to put one on each side of our pattern paper. So we'll get this lined up nicely, and we'll do it on both sides of it. And then I also decided to go ahead and bring in some of the gold pill-offs and to add them as well, just to re-emphasize the gold that we have underneath our starfish. So we used two of these the largest pill-offs on this. And I tried to use a sheet that I'd already used, but it wasn't quite long enough, so I just grabbed another one. And then I'll lay the scraps back down on my sheet so that I don't waste any of them, and I'll have them to use. And I think this looks really pretty. Now, I know all three cards are very different, but I think that's the fun of the card kit. You can just make them. Now, here are the gold pill-offs, and I'm going to do the same thing and just lay them beside the blue there and just add some more sparkle and shine to our card. And just land them right there beside each other and then snipping off. And we'll grab another full piece and lay it down on there. There we go. I think it looks cute. That gold really brings out the gold that's in the pattern paper. So here's our gems, and I'm going to just peel off some of those and put some of those on our card. If I can get a hold of them. I've got these fingernails on here. It's making it difficult to get a hold of them. So I'm going to lay a couple up top and a couple toward the bottom. I think I'll wind up with 5. And I think they kind of look like bubbles in the water. Got that one stuck to my desk. There we go. And we'll just add one more at the top. So I'm going to bring in a sentiment, and we'll get it laid down on our card. And it says, "See you soon," S-E-A, see you soon. And I think that looks really cute. I think we've got a cute little card. We're going to bring in the blue gems, or the blue embellishment pieces that were included in the little kit. And we'll lay one of those down on there just for some added interest. And I think it turned out fun. So I'm going to show you another card. I'll bring in my cards. These are the 3 we made today. And then I'm going to show you my challenge card. So if you weren't aware, Lizi's been doing a challenge each month, and she gives you a sketch, and you can participate and add it to the end links on the blog page. So here are my cards. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.